Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now, live at 4. We have breaking news. That's what's happening on this Friday. The jury has reached a verdict in the Quintus Cephas trial. We'll have the latest on that case.
And we will be joining it live momentarily when the verdict is read. 2 young people died in... Oh, okay, we're going to go to it right now.
Cephas has been found not guilty. Let's go live to the courtroom.
Intoxicated victim as charged in the second count of the information. Is there any request to poll the jury?
No.
All right. Thank you, folks. You are discharged.
All rise for the jury.
Repeating now, Quintus Cephas has been found not guilty of 2 counts of sexual assault. The former UW Badger football player, an emotional scene in the courtroom right now.
He took the stand today for nearly 2 hours testifying in his own defense. And as Mark mentioned, he was charged with 2nd and 3rd degree sexual assaults. Both were felonies, and Quintus Cephas was facing up to 40 years in prison. He has been found not guilty by a jury in Dane County, and the jury deliberated just over an hour, I believe.
It didn't take very long at all, so we'll have more reaction on this coming up in this newscast. And we'll also hear about his testimony earlier this morning coming up.
Our Jamie Perez is there live. She'll be joining us in just a moment.
As you can see, an emotional scene and a smiling Quintus Cephas. Let's go to the weather now. Weather words for today. We got to reorganize things. Let's regroup here. Let's take a look outside, shall we? There we go. This is a beautiful shot of the river, Wisconsin River, and somebody's skipping stones.
That's Mark Schilling, our morning show photographer.
A weekend shower, perhaps. Let's go to the backyard. Dana Fulton has your forecast. Hi, Dana.
Of course, right now it's fantastic outside, nice and sunny. It is a little warmer today compared to where we were at yesterday, but we are looking at the chance for a shower or thunderstorm to creep on in for our weekend, especially looking at Saturday afternoon. Nothing for this evening, though. We're at 83 right now in Madison, 86 in Mineral Point, and about 82 in Janesville. So again, it is just a little warm outside, a calm breeze, barely anything that you're going to notice this evening. And as we head into Saturday, do plan on those showers chances to increase later on in the day, in the afternoon and the evening. But we'll take a closer look at that future track in just a few minutes. Right now on the roads, if we bounce over to the Beltline at Park Street, both sides seem to be going along just fine. Eastbound, though, just a little slower than usual. Well, usual for this time, but compared to other times of the day, not so much. The shoulder right now blocked on the eastbound side. The westbound side, again, seems to be going along okay, but those speeds on the eastbound side reduced down to the 20s and 30s currently. Around DeForest and Waunakee, no delays right now. It'll take you about 27 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, 16 from Sauk City to Middleton. And then to get from Sun Prairie to downtown, it'll be about a 17-minute commute this evening. Again, the forecast for this evening, not too bad, just a little warm. We're going to hold off until Saturday before we see any chances for some isolated showers or thunderstorms to pop up for the start of your weekend. But overall, we're just staying warm, again, for Friday evening.
Well, we just heard that a jury has found Quintus Cephas not guilty. He took the stand today for 2 hours this morning. He went through all the details of that night while his mom and his victim's parents were sitting there listening. He stood by his argument that the sex was consensual. He went through the night detail by detail, saying from his perspective, these girls were showing him signs that they were interested.
Did you think because told you that you were cute or handsome that was consent to have sex with her later that night?
No, I never thought that was consent. From her rubbing on my neck and us rubbing each other's bodies, and once she came to my room and got onto my bed, and I continued to rub on their bodies, and they never told me to stop, that was, consent.
The prosecution also asked Cephas if he thought he had a responsibility as the only sober person that night to make sure that they weren't too drunk to have sex with him. Cephas said the 2 girls showed too many signs of being aware of what they were doing to think otherwise. We'll have a reaction from Jamie Perez when that becomes available. Again, closing arguments just wrapping up about an hour ago. The defense is saying there are too many holes in the state's case and there is room for reasonable doubt. The prosecution is saying rape does not have to be filmed on camera for proof that it happened or as a reason to believe a victim.
A Lyft driver is accused of sexually assaulting a passenger in Madison. Police say 24-year-old Jeremy Foley was arrested this morning for second-degree sexual assault of a person under the influence. A woman told officers she called for a Lyft ride after going out drinking. She said the driver stopped short of her address, locked all of the doors, and told her to perform a sex act on him. The victim told police she felt she had no choice, and she called 911 when she got home. 2 children died in a crash between a semi-trailer truck and a camper being towed last night near Whitewater.
Amy Reed is here with details on just what happened. Amy?
This crash is still being investigated, but it happened yesterday around 7:30 at the intersection of County Road N and Highway 12. That's just outside of Whitewater. Crews were still cleaning up after it today. The sheriff's office told us a driver in a Ford Excursion pulling a trailer turned left in front of a semi. The semi then hit the rear passenger side, killing 2 girls. One was 14, the other was a 7-year-old twin. Her twin, along with the driver and the passenger, are in the hospital now. The sheriff's office didn't know the extent of their injuries. The semi-driver was not injured. And with this story, I was told time and again how big of a problem this intersection is. At 5, I'll tell you what the Department of Transportation is doing about it.
A very sad story, Amy. Thank you.
A woman escaped after she drove her car into the Wisconsin River. It happened about 6:30 this morning near Spring Green on Highway 14 near the Wisconsin River Bridge. Sauk County deputies were able to pull her vehicle out of the water. Officials are still investigating how it all happened.
It's been 5 years since Eric Garner died during a botched arrest in New York's Staten Island. Today, a judge recommended the police department fire the officer involved in Garner's death. Lisa Mateo reports from New York.
2 of Eric Garner's children appeared with activist Al Sharpton. They called for the New York Police Commissioner to follow a judge's recommendation to fire the officer accused of putting an illegal chokehold on their father.
It's been too long. We've been waiting for 5 years for someone to say that he did something wrong.
Officer Daniel Pantaleo never faced criminal charges in Garner's death, which happened during a botched arrest 5 years ago.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
His last words, "I can't breathe." The case became a turning point in the national movement against police brutality. The head of the police union called it a sad day for the NYPD.
To say a police officer effectively doing their job is reckless will freeze this police department.
The Garner case has been a heavy cloud over City Hall and has followed Mayor Bill de Blasio on his presidential campaign. Protesters interrupted Wednesday's debate in Detroit and turned out again Friday at City Hall.
An actual process.
Where the mayor said the system of justice is finally working.
I hope that this will now bring the Garner family a sense of closure and the beginning of some peace.
The NYPD has suspended Pantaleo while the police commissioner makes a decision by the end of the month on whether to fire him. Lisa Mateo, CBS News, New York.
President Trump's pick for National Intelligence Director has withdrawn his name for the position, citing unfair media coverage. Representative John Ratcliffe of Texas has decided to stay in Congress. Questions about Ratcliffe's experience have dogged him since Trump announced his candidacy 5 days ago. Trump told reporters this afternoon before leaving Washington that Ratcliffe is an outstanding man and said he was treated unfairly by the press. The president also had a tweet about an intruder at Representative Elijah Cummings' house. Cummings, who's been the subject of comments from Trump about the city of Baltimore, says he scared off someone who broke into his Baltimore home early last Saturday morning. The president tweeted, quote, "Really bad news. The Baltimore house of Elijah Cummings was robbed. Too bad." Police are investigating the intrusion.
R&B singer R. Kelly pleaded not guilty in federal court today to charges that he sexually abused women and girls who attended his concerts. The Grammy winner was extradited to New York and faces similar charges in Illinois. R. Kelly entered a plea of not guilty to 5 charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. The judge denied bail, calling R. Kelly a flight risk and a danger to public safety.
He's not a happy person, but he understands the system. Unfortunately, he's been through something like this before. He was acquitted.
We know that many persons who are victims of child sexual abuse sometimes take years to come forward.
Attorney Gloria Allred says she represents 3 of the 13 Jane Does who are part of 3 separate cases filed in New York and Illinois. Prosecutors say Kelly, along with his managers, bodyguards, drivers, and personal assistants, recruited women and girls to engage in illegal sexual activity with the singer. Kelly's defense team says his client may have acted like a rock star, inviting the girls backstage after concerts, but he did not engage in a criminal enterprise.
There's more to come at 4. Tragedy has once again struck the Kennedy family.
A possible drug overdose has taken the life of the granddaughter of Robert F. Kennedy. We'll have that story when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
President Trump announces a trade deal with Europe.
It comes one day after he threatened new tariffs on Chinese imports. President Trump presided over the signing of a new agreement with the European Union today, making it easier to export U.S. beef. The announcement comes a day after the president turned up the heat on China to reach a trade deal.
This is a tremendous victory for American farmers, ranchers, and of course, European consumers, because American beef is considered the best in the world.
The president threatened to add 10% tariffs on an additional $300 billion worth of Chinese goods after negotiations between the two countries broke down. The tariffs would affect consumer products from China, including clothing, shoes, and electronics, such as smartphones. It would also include iPhones. The president said the new tariffs could go into effect September 1st if a deal is not reached.
The U.S. economy grew by 164,000 jobs last month. That's according to the Labor Department. While it was in line with expectations, it was a slowdown from June. The unemployment rate held steady at 3.7%, which is nearly a 50-year low. Stocks closed lower on continued trade tensions. The Dow Industrials fell 98 points, ending the week at 26,485. The NASDAQ Composite Index dropped 107. The S&P 500 was off 21. We have a reaction now to the not guilty verdict in the Quintus Cephas trial. Jamie Perez is live at the county courthouse with more. Jamie?
Yeah, well, the verdict was just reached. The jury found him not guilty on the second and third degree sexual assault. They were only deliberating for less than an hour before that verdict was reached. You can probably hear a little bit of noise out in the hall of people out here celebrating, rejoicing. Earlier, they were all hugging and chanting really loudly, "Family, family." And we got an interview with his lawyer and him as well. And he says he has nothing but love in his heart right now. And he is just trying to move forward and move on with the rest of his life. This has been a very long and emotional week for his family and friends that came out to support him. The one thing that his attorney said to us that was key in this case that he says for proving this to the jury was video. He said had there not been surveillance video, he does not think that this case would have gone the way that it did. Everyone here is extremely excited out here in the lobby right now. We do have an interview with them, so we will bring you more on that tonight at 5 and 6.
All right, we will see you then. Jamie Perez, live downtown. Jamie, thank you.
Well, tragedy has once again visited the Kennedy family compound in Hyannisport, Massachusetts, where police responded to a call about a possible drug overdose.
Saoirse Kennedy Hill, a granddaughter of Senator Robert F. Kennedy, died at the age of 22. David Begnaud reports.
Police and paramedics swarmed the usually quiet, affluent Massachusetts beach town Thursday afternoon. They were called to a home that is owned by Robert F. Kennedy's widow, Ethel Kennedy.
Ambulance 2, I'm responding.
CBS News has learned that the call was in regard to one of Robert F. Kennedy's 35 grandchildren, Saoirse Kennedy Hill. The family later said Saoirse died, but they haven't said how. The Hyannisport compound has been home to multiple members of the Kennedy family dynasty, including President John F. Kennedy, who famously used it as a summer White House. It consists of 3 homes and is located on 6 acres of land right along the Nantucket Sound.
Team confirming cardiac arrest.
In a post on Twitter back in 2014, Saoirse wrote that her favorite place to vacation is Hyannisport. A student at Boston College, she was vice president of the College Democrats and was expected to graduate next year. Her family says she was passionately moved by the causes of human rights and women's empowerment and found great joy in volunteer work. Saoirse made headlines back in 2007 when she was just 10 years old, after she was allegedly the victim of an abduction attempt. According to an article in People magazine, she was walking home from playing tennis in Cape Cod when a white van with 2 men inside pulled up beside her. She ran away. In an op-ed for her high school publication nearly a decade later, Saoirse described a struggle with mental illness. She wrote, "My depression took root in the beginning of my middle school years and will be with me for the rest of my life." She said she took a leave of absence from school to get treatment and encouraged others to be open about their struggles. David Begnaud, CBS News, Hyannisport, Massachusetts.
That is tragic. Yeah. Well, it was a great day to be outside, especially if you're into CrossFit.
Go, keep going.
Coming up tonight at 5, we'll meet some visitors from Georgia who came to Madison to watch someone competing in the 14 to 15-year-old division. That's coming up at 5. We'll take a look at this. It's a ride down a waterfall for adrenaline junkies. This is the Mormon Waterfalls in Italy, the highest man-made waterfall in Europe. Rafters pummeled down 3 cascaded levels, 180 yards. It's not for the faint-hearted. At any moment, you could be thrust from your raft and taken by currents. Visitors are provided with a thorough safety briefing. They get helmets, life jackets, wetsuits, and other protections. Says one rafter, just do it. Just overcome your fears and face it.
Well, you obviously don't stay in the raft.
No, not at all.
Now, whitewater rafting is something I would love to try, but not, I don't know, over
Down a waterfall?
Not over
You
a
would do that.
waterfall.
Well, oh, yeah. I would definitely do
You do it in a second.
I was wondering how cool that was. No, I haven't done whitewater rafting either.
Yeah, I'd
so
like to try that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we've got to find a place around here. Unfortunately, the Wisconsin River is not exactly whitewater.
It's kind of slow.
It's a little slow moving. Still a great day, though, to get out on the water.
Yeah.
If you're kayaking, paddleboarding, sailboarding, all sorts of options. Nice blue sky. Temperature-wise, it's even a little warm outside. Tomorrow, we do have a bit of a chance for showers and storms creeping back in. We'll take a closer look at what's ahead for the weekend right after the break. Right now, it does look really nice outside. Again, it is a little bit warm, but as we just mentioned, a great afternoon or evening if you have any outdoor plans that take you to the water. Right now, we got some blue sky and a few boats out, as you can see with our Edgewater Sky Cam. Looking at our Doppler track, nothing new moving in for us overnight. A lot of sunshine, and throughout the state, it should be a pretty calm and quiet overnight. Can't really say the same for tomorrow, unfortunately. We have high pressure right now, keeping things fairly quiet. This cold front to the north is going to steadily dip a little further south and push the chance for some showers into the area, and that means not everywhere we'll be seeing rain. It will really be favored towards the eastern edge of southern Wisconsin, but it'll be a good idea area tomorrow afternoon and evening, just to keep an eye to the sky. Our next chance for showers off to the west right now will slide over as we get into late on Monday, and a slight chance lingering into Tuesday. Right now we're at 83 in Madison. It's a little bit above average. 87 though in La Crosse, and 67 in Milwaukee. A little cooler, of course, along the lake. Dew points in the mid to upper 50s. They're just a little higher than where we were at about 24 hours ago. In fact, about a 3-degree jump for us in Madison. It's a 4-degree jump in La Crosse. Not a major difference, but a little bit of an increase. It does make it feel just a little more humid outside, with our temperatures a little higher than they were at yesterday. And we're going to continue to see that slight increase in our dew points and our temperatures heading into Saturday and Sunday. Starting off Saturday with a little bit of sun. Overall, partly sunny in the afternoon, though, with that shower chance creeping south later in the day. And we will have the opportunity for a few isolated thunderstorms in there, too. Not going to rule that chance out, though. No severe potential for your Saturday. By Sunday, we have a partly sunny sky. And overall, it should be a warm, a little more humid, but decent day. As far as precipitation totals go, this isn't going to be a major rain accumulating event. Again, not everyone will see rain tomorrow, but we're hovering at some of the areas, picking up to 1/10 of an inch, where those isolated thunderstorms could bring some heavier rain at times. Or if a few thunderstorms start trailing each other, we could see those totals get up to 1/10 of an inch or just a little bit more. But we aren't expecting to see much rain come on through, just a little bit of a cool down when those showers do pop up later in the day. So again, early in the morning, temperatures will fall to the low 60s, so it won't be nearly as cool as we've been the last few mornings. In the afternoon, partly sunny. There's that storm chance starting to build on in later in the heat of the day. Again, favored really towards the eastern edge first, and then starting to die down as that front passes further south. And those shower chances will slice through the southern edge of the state. By Sunday morning, our breeze coming from the north. Temperatures in the afternoon will climb right back on up to the mid to low 80s for afternoon highs. Overnight lows tonight, 62. So we're not back down to the 50s, but it should be mostly clear and pretty comfortable outside. A light breeze coming from the south for tomorrow afternoon. Plan on our temperatures being in the mid 80s, partly sunny skies. And again, that chance for an isolated thunderstorm to pop up later in the day, or even into the evening. So keep that in mind with your Saturday plans. You should be good to go in the morning. I know there are a lot of events going on this weekend. Anything that may take you outside for Saturday afternoon or evening, you'll definitely want to have your Skywatch app in hand, or your First Alert app in hand, and we'll continue to keep an eye, of course, on those storm chances developing later on in the day. Mid 80s for Saturday and Sunday. That chance for thunderstorms will be late in the day on Saturday, and then on Sunday, we are expecting no rain chances to develop. Slight chance for some storms to develop late on Monday. And it'll stay overnight into Tuesday. That slight storm chance on Tuesday leads us into a nice sunny stretch heading into the middle and end of next week. And temperatures for the middle of end of next week will be just a little below average in the upper 70s. So we creep up a little bit and for some warmer weather this weekend, and then we drop right back down for next week, but no big jumps or drops. That's the good news. And again, this evening, it's warm outside, but if you have any outdoor plans, it should be just fine.
Yeah, we could use some rain. The grass is getting a little crispy.
Grass is getting a little crispy. I had a few spots that were starting to get a little dry myself, so a little bit of rain could be a good thing. We just don't want too much right now. Right. So some light summer showers really would be beneficial.
All right.
All right, thanks, Dana.
And Chris Reese will keep us up to date on the weekend weather on the Sunday morning News 3, and then stay tuned for CBS Sunday morning. Jane Pauley is here with a preview of what's coming up Sunday morning. 50 years ago, Jane. Woodstock?
Yeah. Well, okay, I wasn't there. Let's say, but I theoretically could have been. Okay. Yeah, we are going back to Max Yasgur's farm up there in upstate New York, where one soggy summer weekend 50 years ago, the name Woodstock became legend. Jim Axelrod talks to some people who were there, including musician Graham Nash, then of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, who was himself a young 27 in 1969. So how's he changed? Here's a clip.
I still believe what we believed then as hippies, right? I'm still a hippie. I mean, let's get real here. The basic ideas of that love is better than hatred, that peace is much better than war, that we have to take care of our fellow human beings because this is all we have. Those tenets that were established then are still relevant to me today.
Don't you ever ask them why? If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh. I know they love you.
Can't hear that without trying to do the harmony. We'll also be hearing from John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival. They performed at Woodstock for an hour. And I wonder if you knew that Woodstock, that little yellow bird in the Peanuts comic strip, was named for the festival. You'll have to tune in for more.
Was it really? I didn't know that.
I know. I guess I didn't either.
And the anniversary concert has been canceled, I understand.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my chance. Well, yeah.
You missed it. All right. What else is on the show this Sunday?
Well, the Woodstock generation could be suffering from some hearing loss after 50 years of loud rock music. So David Pogue has the latest on hearing aids. And we'll spend some time with actress Angela Bassett. And then some. Full lineup on Sunday morning. Hope to see you then.
It sounds so. Thank you, Jane. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you Sunday at 8 o'clock.
Thank you.
Should be interesting.
Another great show, yeah.
50 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe.
Well, still to come at 4, a movie spin-off hits theaters this weekend.
We'll have a preview of Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw when Live at 4 continues. that's the place to be on a Friday afternoon.
Look at the people on the terrace.
I know. That is the place to be. That's a live look at the UW Memorial Union. Start of a great weekend ahead. After 8 movies, a massively popular action franchise is trying something a little different.
That being giving 2 of its newer characters their own movie. Rick Damigella has a preview of Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
You guys have to work together.
No way. This guy's a real ass.
Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham's chemistry in the Fast and Furious movies led to the spin-off Hobbs and Shaw.
When we were doing Fast 8, there was a sequence in a prison where it was Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham put in opposite cells, and they just start smack-talking each other. On set that day, we all kind of looked at each other and said, if we're gonna do the spin-off, it's now, and it's with these characters.
The movie takes a deeper look into the characters' lives.
I'm sorry to bring this here, Mama.
Luke, this is your home.
This movie, deeply personal to me. I was able to showcase one of my cultures. I'm half black and half Samoan. We showcase my Samoan side. And for the first time ever in film,
we learn about his sister that we didn't know. We learn about how they have to reconcile some great deed that happened.
Your sister took something from me. A virus that could wipe out half the population, and I want it back.
Idris Elba plays the villain with Vanessa Kirby as Shaw's sister.
I saw the opportunity here to make a woman that could stand alongside the guys in something that's, whether it's a woman getting saved or being rescued or whatever, it was awesome that we could try and do something completely different.
Welcome to my island, mother!
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Well, fun for the whole family. Go ahead.
Our Will Loper will have his review Monday here on Live at 4.
From the silver screen to the Overture stage, we go backstage with Michael Bruno next.
He checks out the Broadway touring production of the musical Anastasia. That's when Live at 4 continues.
If you're getting ready to hop on the roads, you actually might need a little more time on the eastbound side of the Beltline. Traffic a little extra congested due to some accidents that aren't blocking any lanes, but some shoulders are blocked. And of course, folks slow down a little more when we got the cars over on the side. Eastbound again backed up. Westbound doesn't look nearly as bad right now. A little closer look here at downtown. Again, those eastbound speeds down to the single digits there. At least we're moving, but it's slow just before Fish Hatchery Road. Picks up for a little bit, and then the closer we get to John Nolan, speeds reduced yet again. It's not until you get clear over towards Monona that things start to pick back up on the eastbound side. Westbound, of course, starting to see those delays on the on-ramp after Fish Hatchery Road. And then things will pick back up just a little bit afterwards, the closer you get towards Verona Road and heading west. Overall, things on the Isthmus don't look too bad. Just the usual delays and hiccups at the stop signs, stoplights, of course. DeForest looks okay. Wanakee, though, on 113, we have our delays heading into town. It'll take about 29 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, so just a little longer than usual. Sauk City to Middleton, about 17 minutes. 17 minutes also for Sun Prairie to downtown. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Tina, thank you. Oscar Mayer is celebrating National Ice Cream Sandwich Day today by creating a special ice cream sandwich with bits of real hot dog. Yeah, yesterday it was the teeth. Now we have this. The company announced it has partnered with a New York ice cream company to create Ice Dog Sandwich featuring cookies as buns and bits of candied hot dog meat.
Can you hear Dana's commentary in the background? This is hilarious.
Go to Oscar Mayer's Twitter page to find out where you can get it. Dana, you don't care for that?
No!
Candied hot dog pieces?
Please, no.
Okay.
Please, no.
No.
Right. Gosh.
The musical Anastasia premiered on Broadway in 2017 and is based on the 1997 movie of the same name.
The touring production of the show has set up shop on the Overture stage. Through Sunday, our Michael Bruno went backstage to check it out.
Dancing there's painted wings, things I almost remember.
It's about this young lady trying to find out who she is. She has amnesia. We don't know who she is. But the top of the show starts with the Romanoff family. You see their demise. It's not too graphic. It's really done beautifully. And then there's this young girl. She doesn't know who she is. There are these two con men who get a hold of her and want to pass her off as the Grand Duchess Anastasia. They take her to Paris to meet her grandmother, the Dowager Empress. I am the lady in waiting to the Dowager Empress, and you have to get through me to get to her. One of the con men and myself, we used to have a relationship, so that's how he gets through to her. And then they bring in this girl named Anya and pass her off as Anastasia, but she has memories and she could really be Anastasia.
The costumes,
costumes
are exquisite costumes.
They're ridiculous. I mean, they're some of the most beautiful costumes I've ever worn in my life.
Let's run up the bill as if we're still royalty at play.
The scenery.
Oh,
and how
yes.
the scene, like you're watching an Xbox.
It's an LED screen, and I always say it's projections, but it isn't projections. Nothing's being projected. It is computer generated. So it's very 3D.
The impressive one is when they're on the train.
Yes,
that you
isn't
really
that
think
the best?
that you think the thing is moving.
It is,
really
because
isn't.
the train itself is on an actual, we call it a turtle. So it's moving, but the scenery behind them is the perspective changes, and it's so cool.
You're a native Madisonian, and you graduated from East High School. So tell me a little bit about your journey from here to Anastasia.
Well, I started as a 5-year-old dancer at Virginia Davis School of Dance as a ballet and tap and jazz and Hawaiian dancing. And I was very, very shy. And I started doing theater when I was 12 or 13. I worked at Madison Theater Guild, did Anything Goes there as a dancer. And that kind of just, all those crazy theater people brought me out of my shell, and I started really wanting to do theater. So I did that for a while. I went to school, DePaul University, University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point for 2 years, and then I started working at the Fireside. So Ed Flesch at the Fireside is the reason I never went back to school. He started hiring me, and I was a professional actress at the age of 21, and I've been working ever since. I auditioned for my first Broadway show, which was Showboat, and I got it. And so by 1994, I was on Broadway. So that's when my Broadway career started. And I've been working as an actor ever since.
Michael is here now.
Hey, Michael.
That background is stunning.
It's phenomenal. It's all these incredible visuals happening. And
So explain it a little bit. There's no sets.
Well, there is. It's a combination. Some are actual real sets, like you see the windows, and you see some of the sets there. But a lot of it is this technology where it looks like there's a curtain coming in, but it's really not a real stage curtain. It's a projection, it's an LED screen, and all these amazing visuals are happening behind the screen. So it looks like that whole thing where they're in the train.
Yeah.
The train car is actually on a turntable, but the video of the countryside is happening in the background. So it really looks like that train car is moving, because it's turning, but it looks like it's actually going across the stage. It's
incredible.
It is incredible. It's like you're inside of an Xbox, game.
Well, I'm an LED projection.
You are an LED. You are a hologram, Mark.
And she has quite a story.
She is wonderful. Terry is just, she steals the show. She's not even in the first act. It's an odd, interesting kind of musical, because the first act is all about Russia and the takeover and the big revolution. And it's kind of like Dower, and it's kind of like following the animated film. And then you come to the second act, and they're in 1920s Paris. So they're all flappers, and it's all like burlesque and all these wonderful things. It's like, wait a minute, what show are we here? What happened to the first act, and who are these people in the second act? But she really is a powerhouse. She's really funny, got a great voice, and a great story for a local girl.
How inspiring, yeah.
Check her out. Anastasia's at Overture Hall tonight at 8, Saturday, tomorrow 2 and 8, Sunday 1 and 6:30. Go to overture.org. Next week,
it's the Oscar Mayer Weenie musical with hot dogs and ice cream. At Middleton Players is going to do Beauty and the Beast.
You better get busy writing that.
I have written that musical. It's coming up next.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. Have a good weekend.
I'll check your forecast coming up. A little warm, but not bad.
Yeah, just a little summery outside, and thankfully it's not too humid. As we take a live look right now in Platteville, you've got a nice blue sky. Ground's looking green, but as we were talking about earlier, maybe a little bit of light rain wouldn't be such a bad thing. Our Doppler track will stay quiet tonight, but looking ahead to tomorrow, we will have the chance for a few showers to develop. It's 83 currently in Madison, 86 in Mineral Point, about 81 in Viroqua, so it is a little warm outside with a light breeze you'll barely notice. Again, for Saturday, we'll start the day off in the low 60s. Won't be as cool as where we've been the last few mornings. And then afternoon highs will be in the mid to low 80s with that thunderstorm chance developing later in the afternoon and evening. It won't be a total washout, but just something you want to keep an eye to the sky later on in the day.
Keep an umbrella handy.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Dana. And Monday here on Live at 4, we'll meet our Pet of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society.
And film critic Will Loper will be here to tell us what he thinks of the new movie Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. That's coming up Monday on Live at 4. It's August. It is officially the dog days of summer. Time to slow down and enjoy life.
But don't tell that to Lola and Louie. These two dogs have had another busy week in the Newshounds World Headquarters. Here are the top animal stories of the week.
It's Newshounds Now Update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the Newshounds Now Update, a high-fiving seal,
a rare pelican,
and a couple of cute cubs.
But we start things off in northern Wisconsin, where a team of researchers from the Loon Project spotted a pair of loons who have adopted a mallard duck on a lake between Rhinelander and Minocqua. The researchers believe the loons lost a recently hatched chick of their own, came across a duckling that had been separated from its family, and decided to take the baby duckling under their wing. The duckling is not only surviving with its foster parents, it's thriving by picking up some loon-like behaviors, like learning to dive for food like its foster parents. Eventually, the duckling will move on and live like a duck.
More fowl news. The Moscow Zoo has welcomed a rare great white pelican chick into the world, a fluffy gray ball that cautiously wanders around the nest under the watchful eye of its parents. The unnamed chick will grow splendid white feathers by the age of 3, and until then, the parents will feed it from their beaks. Great white pelicans rarely breed in captivity, so this is an exciting event.
2 Bengal tiger cubs have made their public debut at a zoo in Guadalupe. They were born on June 4th, and now they weigh nearly 9 pounds. They're in good health with a big appetite that requires feeding every 3 hours. Bengal tigers are native to Asia, with the majority of the 2,500 wild animals left found in India.
Gimme 5. A great seal puts his paw on the hand of an underwater cameraman in what looked like a handshake. Ben Burville, who's been studying gray seals for 20 years,